Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to a PM podcast of Down the Line with Jeremy Humphrey. I want to welcome everybody who's going to join the live today. Today's special guest is Oak Glen softball head coach Sherrie Garner. Welcome, Coach. How's it going?
Good. Thanks, Jeremy, for having me. Having a good
problem.
day.
Thank you for coming on board. We were talking about your Bucko flag back there. They're doing pretty well for themselves. You're 10-6 on the year, so maybe the losses are not where you want it to be, and you want to get those in the win column. But anything above 500 is good.
Yeah. We are. Again, we were losing some that we would preferably win, of course. We're with some challenges. We're seeing some good teams. I mean, that's certainly the other part of it. Is again, we're not coming away games that I think that we were meant to completely win. I mean, we're getting some learning opportunities for sure. So
Yeah,
we have to find a way to get better. That's what I told the girls last night. We actually, got beat last night by Weirton, and of course that's our sectional rivalry, has been for several years. We're looking at switching some sections, so we want to finish hard. Within this year, because we are going to move down a classification because West Virginia is going to change those classifications. So, that is certainly our goal, to finish strong and, win a sectional title and hopefully a regional title, because we have had some fortunate years in our past.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, Coach Fidak's been with us for a couple years now, so I talk to him all the time. Let's talk about that run that you had, 2022. You were, one game away from making it to the state final, or y'all were in the state finals, correct?
Yeah, let's see. So this is 24, 23, 22, 21 was the year we were runner-up.
Okay.
And yeah, that was an undefeated season. We were beating regionals. So I think we're 23-0 on the undefeated season, beating one game of regionals because it's a best of 3 series with Kaiser, West Virginia. Yeah. And then we won, and we went into the best position of the second day because it's a double elimination tournament. We won both, and Herbert Hoover had to come back and beat us twice, and they did. So, that was certainly a great run. And we have then repeated going to the state finals. There's one team in each region, which are 4 regions, each 2 years since then. So, again, very fortunate. Had a very a group that just grew together, from a very young age. I mean, from 8U on, you get fortunate when you have those opportunities to work with those kids, as well as we have a group now that has worked together, but they're on the younger side of things. So we're trying to, get them working together. We had some relatives in our previous group too. So when they play together and they're related, and they had some, again, we have strong families behind us completely with everything. So it's not comparing or, pushing one to the other. It's just that just some things aligned that time, and we had some good support around them, and we had, again, excellent opportunities, but we did come up short. And again, we were then third in the last 2 years, again finishing on the second day, going into the second day, but finishing short. And last year we fell short with an injury to our number 1 pitcher, Lizzie Kell, which was very scary. Came out that she was okay, but I certainly liked our chances last year. That was our game 1. We lost that game, but came back and won the next day, and then lost in the morning the second day. So, again, you go with the bumps in the road, and that was certainly a bump, because I liked our chances. We were 1-on-1 in that game with who ended up winning in Winfield, West Virginia.
Oh, wow. So you're there every year, it seems like. What do we got to do to get these girls over the hump? What's the mindset that you put into them to try and figure out a way to then push them to then, instead of losing, to make it to a state championship team, a winner?
Well, some of the inconsistencies that we're seeing right now, I mean, we're trying to, of course, every ball begins with a pitch. So we have some pitchers, and we are deep in our pitching staff, and we have 5 girls between the JV squad as well as the varsity squad that can pitch. So we have switched some things around in some lead roles, or your number 1s or your number 2s. But my message to them, along with our coaching staff, they have to work together. Because it's not one pitcher. It's not one pitcher. It's the outs behind them. It's also manufacturing runs. This year we haven't been in like a one-run game. There has been some. I
Yeah,
have some scores here too, but we've there's been some larger deficit than Wheeling Park was a game that we actually lost the first time down at Wheeling Park. We came back here and we won a game. When we split when they're our regular season. So that was something we were able to overcome. Where you lose the first game and you come back and you fight harder the second game. Made some changes. And again, we haven't played on our dirt very often. We still have dirt here. The Ohio Valley, again, we're fortunate. A lot of schools are going to the turf because of the weather and sorts of situations. But we still, and I would prefer to play on dirt in the ideal world. But
yeah,
when you have a coaching colleagues like we have, and I get advised, Sherrie, if you have the chance, it's one and done. You take the turf field. um,
right.
and we've been fortunate to go and work be with work and have some games at Weir High. Again, we went down there last night when it was our home game because we've had too much rain and saturation to our field, as well as they allowed us to use that against Lindsley over the weekend. So
Yeah,
it's definitely advantageous. But again, there's some features of dirt you'll never get on a turf field, which is the texture, the grip of the balls, and um,
absolutely.
just the natural surface is ideally the better place. But again, the state tournament has been the last 3 years we've been there has been on a turf field in Little Creek, Charleston. So we know that that's the route you get if you want to achieve the number one status in the state. You have to play on the turf. So
Absolutely.
um, we work with those. Again, the factors of the weather, anything of this on the other side too. So we have to again try to find the strengths in our defense as well as our offense. So that we're going to have to put them all together, put the pieces together.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a team effort. It comes down to catching pass balls, throw downs. I mean, backing up. The biggest thing that I always emphasize with the teams that I coach are the three B's. If you don't get the ball, you better be at a bag, and if you're not at the bag, you better be backing up. So, cover all phases of the field for sure. Uh, let's talk about your roster here. You started off beforehand saying that you're a young roster. Anybody there that is somebody to watch for that's going to be a name in the Valley for a couple years?
We've seen good things out of some of our freshmen. I mean, Maddie Carney is pitching for us, and she's done some good things. As well as our other pitcher is Maddie Murray and Danica Holden. They're the three girls that are pitching on the varsity level, and they're all doing good things. They're very different in a sense. There's some velocity, some movement from all three of them. They have some variety. So, our strengths are going to be putting them together. That's going to be what we see to get that. And then when I'm scheduling double hitters, it is the thinking about what is on down the road. When
Yeah,
you get double hitters, you have to embrace them because that's the tournament. And then your teams that are going to the spring training things and playing back to back games. It's because that you have to have that endurance and coming with multiple sport athletes. There are girls again that aren't playing primarily, and I'm not a component to say that that's what you have to do, but
yeah.
when you have to find your endurance for the one particular sport you're in, it takes some time, and and that's been some skill level that we're trying to get at too. That we have the endurance to play, with 9 or 10, whether we're playing DP flex or you're playing 9 flat, and again, your bench is important as well. You have to have opportunities to get some swings from girls or defense that you need, and utilizing the whole team.
Do you have JV teams?
We do. We have 20 girls on our full roster, between JV and varsity. So we have about 6 girls that split, and then we have 6 girls that play just JV. So we've had JV, and we've had a lot. We actually the JV group has not lost a game. So there is
Nice.
a lot of youth there. They have played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. Now, way State of West Virginia works, if you're splitting kids, you can't have a full game after it unless you count it as a varsity game. So we play 4 innings. You can have an abbreviated game when you split those. So we
Okay.
we've had only one full game, but otherwise we've had some abbreviated games, and they have been very very successful. Again, we have 2 girls that are pitching there. Kylie Robinson's done the main pitching with them, and then Marley Lowe has done some pitching. And they're both freshmen, but the JV, that's the quality of it. If you have a pitcher that's getting you through a game, you have some girls that can swing, and these girls are our JV level can swing the bat, and they put
Yeah,
the bat or the ball in play. But again, they're they're making a good effort with, again, the pitching is the key. I mean, that's where it starts.
yeah. No, I mean, if you can't throw strikes, then I mean that's the name of the game. Um, let's. Or I'm trying to figure out how I want to go into this. The Hope Scholarship in West Virginia.
Okay.
You have a rival in Madonna. I would say they're a rival. They always seem to be pretty competitive in everything that they do. Um, how do you keep the girls that are in your area at Oak Glen and making sure that with this hopes, I know it's not scouting or recruiting or anything like that, because it's mainly for academics and giving kids an opportunity to go to a Catholic school or a Christian school, whatever the case may be. How do you keep them at Oak Glen and not try to do the whole moving around? Like, how do you keep them there?
I mean, I think it's our community that keeps kids here, regardless of any sport. I think, we haven't, again, this is the first year that the state of West Virginia is allowing you to, do one transfer.
Right.
And when you look at the kids that play for us in our population, a lot of our families have graduated from, so there's a ownership and a value of community and schools, and again, residency for that matter. Again, at the high school age, kids can drive from one school to the next. That,
Yeah.
when they're into the 10th, 11th, 12th grade. But there's a value in where you come from, you stay at. And, I think that we were fortunate to have that as well. I mean, I grew up here. It's nice to be back here doing things with the sport that I love. I played basketball and I played softball, but I certainly picked to coach softball over basketball. I've done both, but
Yeah.
my duration has been with softball. So, but I look at the roster that, I mean, I'll probably jumble it, but I'm going down there. I would say 90% of our kids' parents graduated from Oak Glen,
Nice.
if not 95. I'd have to do a math, and that's not what I want to do right now.
No,
But
you're good. I mean, that's nice that to be able to have that kind of backing. I mean, because not only just for the community part of it, but also to have the bloodline of having the family members come up from one generation to the next. That means significant for that area, and that that high school area to stay together like that. Um, this new classification, explain. Madonna's head coach tried to explain it to me a little bit yesterday. They're staying down. There's some other teams moving around. Why did West Virginia decide to reclassify and move things around?
I don't really know the complete history and background. I mean, the science of it is the geography. I mean, that's what I mean, I think that was probably some of the movement reasons why. Now you see that the 3A, I mean, there's four now. There always had been three. They did a basketball run with the basketball group. And, I guess they found enough success, and they, when they have their meetings, they went ahead and pushed, all the sports. We are moving down numerically wise. Of course, it wasn't all about enrollment. It was about some other formula with
Yeah.
different things. I don't know all the pieces, but so ours will change. But again, you see our section has six or three and three for six in total region, where there's some regions that have seven or eight, maybe even nine. I mean, so there is some imbalance there. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, uh, regardless, we probably will do less traveling with our new classification. But I know in this best of three, you have to play in succession with the region. So for the last 3 years, we've gone to Kaiser, come back from Kaiser, and 2 years out of the three, we went back to Kaiser.
Back to college.
We won not last year, the year before, we won at Kaiser, or won here, then won at Kaiser. So we never won a regional at home, which is kind of just a funny little thing that we say amongst ourselves. But, we did it the long term. The short term year that we did it wasn't on our home court or our home
Yeah.
field. So, that those are big trips that the kids
Yeah.
take. And again, you have, you know, the value of school and at the end of school and holding things together with testing, and there's AP testing, and that's the other hat. I obviously my primary hat is this. I'm a school counselor at Oak Glen, so there's the juggling of that.
Yeah.
And again, the academic pieces for all the kids. Not that they're good students. Again, we're fortunate, and I not picking on boys, but um, girls always seem to come through with their grades. And again, I don't mean nothing by it, but I'm just saying what some other coaches say.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, I interviewed Coach Eric Hayden a while back. We had the discussion about the turf and non-turf and everything like that. You had your piece on it, how you feel a bit more natural when you get the dirt on the softball, you get a better grip. It's not, he said turf is coming in a couple of years. Can you elaborate and verify that maybe Oak Glen is getting turf?
Yeah, yes. We actually had a ceremony yesterday with the progression of the naming of the field after previous superintendent of schools, Susan Smith. And the next phase is to add the turf, and they're supposed to break ground this June for both the baseball and the softball field. So it hasn't gone to the board there's a new company that's going to work with. I think it's presented against the board soon, up on the agenda, maybe in a week or so, is what I hear is in the plan. But Mr. Enich did say in the comments yesterday at our ceremony that he would see it through. So he's our current superintendent, and I do see that that's what's going. They've financed it. They've had some previous meetings throughout the year that I've attended. You know, it's going in that direction. And this has been probably one of the worst springs in 15 years. I mean,
Yeah. It's
just
currently downpouring right now in Toronto. So, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, and it goes beyond that. It goes to affect just, I mean, the flooding and just, the fields that you've seen. I mean, the Lindsley Field, the Brook Fields, they were
Yeah.
just underwater. I mean, that it just, they're we are underwater in a sense because of the landfill, but not because we're in a the Ohio Valley
Yeah.
has hit, and this whole day of rain is going to be terrible for people. You know.
Yeah, it's supposed to be worse tomorrow too. Apparently, with big thunderstorms coming through the valley tomorrow. So, how did the rain's coming down? You have a dirt field. Is there any place that you have designated for your kids that y'all can go to and get some swings, get some pitching in, do some bullpens?
Well, we have a pitching cage in that area in our auxiliary gym that we utilize. I mean, we share with the boys, and that's fine. I mean, we have an indoor opportunity as well as when we're outside. We do use our football field in the
Okay.
evenings when we have to work around schedules there for the track in the spring. So there are opportunities. We just played at Toronto the other day, and Coach Triffenoff was able to see their facility that they have there, and that's nice. And those are the things you want to grow into as communities. I know you guys have had the wonderful support there, but that is nice to have just a batting lane and an
Yeah.
indoor batting lane, and we don't have that opportunity here within the school. Off season kids, they go to lessons, they play travel. We do this winter league that our kids we ask to come. Again, they're coached by some parents, and they're able to do those sort of things just to get them fueling together. Again, you're still working with kids that are in other sports, and you get some there, you get some, you miss some. So
Yeah. So, are you a travel ball person? Do you?
no, I have not. I mean, I watch them. I actually have some friends and family members around the state that I try to go watch different ones and see our girls play in different ones, see the rec leagues play. But no, I've not coached travel.
No. Do you mind your players playing travel? Do you think it's too much? Do you want them
No,
out there seeing that competition?
no, I think it's great. I mean, I think that, again, it's the value of what a family wants to do for their children. And again, the majority of kids, it's a high school opportunity. I mean, some kids play after high school, some kids get burnt out. They think they want to play and then they get burnt out and they don't choose to play. And that's all a personal decision. But what I
Right.
know about being young, you're not young forever. You might as well
Yeah.
enjoy your process, whether it be, one sport, multiple sports, keeping your bodies healthy, being a multiple sports is using different muscle groups. You have to, if I knew then what I know now, I'd say I'd do things different. Your core training and those things that need to come to these personal trainers and stuff. Those are important too, because the value of your core being developed so your shoulders can work and your knees can work. That all comes from your core.
I
Um,
agree. We had practice last night, and I got to swing that hype fire that everybody on the internet's all fired up about, that drop 5 for baseball. And I took about 10 swings, and I can say my side's not feeling too hot,
mhm.
but I made contact. That's all that mattered to me.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I yeah, they just I actually totally side story, but I came across a physician who was really tall and female physician. I said, "Do you play basketball?" And she goes, funny story. She goes, "I had my choice to play D1 softball or volleyball." And I said, "Wow, if you're an outside hitter and she was an outside hitter and pitcher," I said, "You must have knew to take care of yourself from a young age, because to have, come out of high school, have an opportunity to do both, that your shoulders in shape."
Yeah,
And that's tough to do. I mean, it comes from the pieces, and you know, we do have, sometimes that we spend in the weight room off season, but it's not, valuably enough for a group that, you have to find individual time. I mean,
right.
you have to find.
Do you have a local gym or somewhere that you can send your girls that will like give them a discounted rate to go in there and get some winter lifting in, or even some in season lifting?
We've never really done that. We've done some jump stretches and stuff with the Flex or FLX over in Calcutta. We've done that with some folks that have worked over there that utilize that as a group before. We have a pretty decent facility here within the school that we utilize with free weights and some Nautilus machines. We try to develop some cardio within that. The cardio pieces come along the way. So, we do have our pieces within the school, but all that is truly an individual concept. And we have a
Yeah.
group, again, our group of juniors, they have gone over to this facility in Aliquippa, but again, it's a personal trainer thing. Crydel's, I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but the
Nuh-uh.
girls get a great amount of work up there. Um, it's a one couple nights a week off season that they go, and they come back. Again, you find some confidence when you're completing programs like that.
Absolutely. I just want to take a look at your the OVAC standings real quick here with you.
Yeah.
You got Edison sitting at 6-1, Weir 9-4, and you're sitting back at 8-5 after a loss to Weir. Now, some of these other teams haven't got a lot of games in just because of the weather and situations and stuff that are going on. Can you see yourself, overtaking Weir and even getting up to that 1 seed, or are you comfortable with being a 2 or a 3?
Um, numerically, I don't know where we would be to again get to the games again. We have one more week
Yeah,
to see where we would be. We're going to probably have to fight to be in the top four. Realistically, um, and I think, yeah, definitely Edison's going to sit up there, and Creek is knocking at the door, and we are still above Creek and Cambridge. But again, the weather's going to impede on all of us.
yeah,
And we'll see what happens. We were scheduled to go to Clarksburg for two double headers this weekend. And that would be great if we can get them in. Saturday's going to look good, but hopefully it's not too saturated. I've already spoke to their coaches at RCB, Robert C. Bird, and she's hopeful that we can play tomorrow. And then hopefully Saturday certainly, but we will just have to cross the bridge, and those would be good to get in. Again, those are both natural surfaces, so you're not going to just wait for the rain to pass.
yeah.
And then next week uh, we have Brook, Big Red for 2, Creek, and then we go to Morgantown for 2 on Friday. So we still have opportunities to collect points, and obviously Big Red and Indian Creek are going to be good because they're OVAC games. Morgantown High, and then we play Buchanan and Brook. I mean, they're all big games. I mean,
Yeah,
they're bigger schools or comparable schools.
a lot
Numerical
of
wise.
points.
Yeah, there's opportunities for points as well as the other ones do. But I think we realistically have to just maintain and win the games that we are faced against, so that we know where our points, that we definitely have points. If you don't win, you don't have points.
Right. Absolutely. And you're giving them more points too, so you don't want to do
Yeah.
that either. Now, you have a natural surface there. Do you have somebody that works on the field for you, or are you out there grinding day in and day out, doing it?
Well, physically, I can't grind it, and I've done it in the past, and I've had families to do it. But we are managed by the maintenance department of Hancock County Schools. So, and we are fortunate again we have this, the natural surfaces where they used to have to split their time between the two. The difference between the turf and the natural field surfaces. So they do bust their tails to get us ready. It's just right now, I mean, it's the swamp. There's no
Yeah.
place for the water to go. I mean, the filtration system, and that's the one reason. Either if we didn't get turf, we were going to have to totally redo that, because it's just after 15 years that field's been there. It just when it gets this way, it's soupy. There's your cat.
Yeah. Just out
Yeah,
of nowhere.
yeah. It's too soupy, and you can see where it comes right from the boys' field. It just goes straight to, it's just a straight line right through our field because they're back to back. But it
Yeah.
just sinks right in, and at this point, I haven't been up there today, but I'm sure it's pretty much a lake, and the birds come and they nest there too. And
Oh, so you have a geese problem too?
oh yeah, they like to swim there when the. But yeah, even when it's not, just because of the moisture in the area, and it's swampy back there regardless. But
Yeah.
that's where we live. Yeah.
Well, the rumor is Toronto's getting turfed this fall, so that'll be another school that has an opportunity, along with y'all, to potentially play year round. I mean, it's always nice to be able to go in and take advantage of a January or February day that you can get your I guess, volleyball players out there to get some ground balls and hit and whatever. So
Yeah, I mean, February's been traditionally a pretty nice month for
it has been,
softball.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has. And then
Last
once the season starts, it goes out the window. So,
Mm-hmm.
well, Coach, this last segment here I got for you. It's going to be sponsored by Corey's HVAC. For all your heating and air conditioning issues, from services, repairs, and installations, call Corey at 740-317-3649. These are just rapid fire questions, only 4 of them. Pre-game meal. What's a meal that you got to have to hold you over before the game starts?
Well, if we're traveling, the girls like Subway, um, but they're a snack group. They we pack snacks.
Okay. So what's an in-game snack or something that you have to have? You're in the middle of a game. The game's going longer than normal. You're on a natural surface, so there's sunflower seed options where you don't get that on the turf. What's something that you can either drink or snack on during the game just to kind of like hold you over?
Well, kind of popular is again the beef jerky or something like that, as well as those applesauce squeezies. They like
Yeah.
those.
Okay.
Hmm.
Uh, you're getting ready for a game. You're getting on the bus. You're almost to the stadium. You're trying to get your mind right. You're trying to get hyped up for the game. What's a go-to song that you can listen to on repeat to get you going?
Well, my assistant coaches are going to have to answer that question because I have a really bad hip, and I've been driving. But the girls, they have the walk up songs. I mean, that's where I'm showing my age a little bit. So, but I would have to refer out for that absolute question what they get to pump them up.
Well, what about you? What's a song that you can listen to on
Oh,
repeat?
I'm usually Froggy. I go Froggy and get the country music. So,
Okay.
or my phone ringer is Jump from Van Halen. So that is my Van Halen years will come back.
You a 90s or a 2000s or a modern day now country
I'm
music?
late '80s, '90s. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. We got something to go on with that one then. Now you have no softball. The season's over with. You have nothing going on. What's a hobby that somebody can find you doing outside?
I visit some friends. Last year I went to Florida to visit some sorority sisters. This year I have a high school reunion. Well, my best friend lives in Texas, and we go fishing. So
No. We're
that's
at in
my fate.
Texas.
It's in the Galveston area, Houston,
Okay.
South
All right.
Houston.
My
Yep.
sister just moved to Cypress, which is like northwest Houston. I'm from Dallas, and then that's where all my family at is East Texas area. So I definitely like to get back to the state there.
Yep. So that's where I'm going in June, and again with another high school friend. Three of us. We all went to school here, and so we'll have some softball stories, some volleyball stories, and some golden bear
Nice.
stories, and hopefully fry up some fish.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
Hey, thank you, Coach, for taking time out of your day to join me on today's interview. I really appreciate it. I'll be watching Game Changer and watching how the season goes and keeping up with the OVAC and all that stuff. So good luck to you and the Golden Bears.
All right. Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate it.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Have a
Thanks.
good one.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.